Hello, everyone. I'm Kayla, a 35-year-old who wants to share an event that unfolded in my life, one that I navigated surprisingly well. Unlike many stories you may have heard, mine begins with a rather positive twist concerning my mother-in-law, which might raise a few eyebrows. We shared a harmonious relationship built on kindness, understanding, and mutual respect. My husband, Gary, is my soulmate, my partner in every adventure, and my closest confidant. From my perspective, everything was perfect. It's worth noting that I wasn't blind to potential issues. Like any family, we had our disagreements, but nothing hinted at the chaos that was about to unfold. The surprise and confusion I felt when everything changed are difficult to express. I'm still trying to process what happened and why I felt driven to seek revenge on both Gary and my mother-in-law. Here's the backstory. I had planned a special family vacation, initially just a getaway for Gary and me. But then I thought of Janice, my mother-in-law, who had been widowed for 3 years. Imagining her loneliness, I decided to extend the invitation to her, hoping to make the trip unforgettable for all of us. The plan was to explore Italy, immersing ourselves in the rich culture of Naples, enjoying delicious meals, and soaking up the sun along the Mediterranean. I was thrilled at the prospect of creating beautiful memories and deepening our bond. I took care of all the major arrangements, covering the costs of our accommodations, meals, and activities, while Gary and Janice could contribute to any extras if they wished. My vision was to give us a once-in-a-lifetime experience in Italy, from staying in a charming boutique hotel with breathtaking views to attending a vibrant flamenco dance show. The excitement among us was palpable, and I was bubbling over with joy at the surprise I had planned for Janice and Gary. Little did I know that the events about to unfold would challenge my unwavering trust and shatter the seemingly flawless harmony of our family life. I was on the brink of an experience that would dramatically shift my perspective on family loyalty and expose the startling complexities of deceit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me take you back to a moment filled with anticipation and dreams of our trip to Italy, a time when our aspirations brimmed with potential and optimism. There I was in our living room, holding the plane tickets with a radiant smile, calling Gary and Janice over. Their puzzled expressions were a mix of curiosity and surprise. Janice, with her perceptive eyes that seemed to carry the wisdom of ages, looked on with interest. "What's this all about, Kayla?" she asked, a hint of excitement in her voice. With a grand flourish, I presented the plane tickets and excitedly outlined our splendid Italian vacation. I had meticulously planned every detail of our trip, eagerly watching their faces for a glimpse of the joy and appreciation I felt. Gary's reaction was immediate. His face lit up, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Kayla, you're amazing. This trip sounds incredible," he exclaimed. Janice's response was more subdued but equally heartfelt. "Oh, Kayla, you've gone above and beyond. This is such a generous gift," she said, her warmth enveloping me. In that moment, I was filled with pride and happiness. Their reactions confirmed the love and thought I had poured into planning this surprise. I truly believed this vacation would strengthen our bonds even further, creating memories that would last a lifetime and fortifying connections that already felt indestructible. However, as you may have guessed, our story was about to take a dark turn. Beneath the surface of our seemingly perfect relationships lay a complex web of deceit and betrayal poised to ensnare us. The unraveling truth would test the boundaries of forgiveness and challenge our understanding of what it meant to be a family. As we embarked on our journey and boarded the plane to Italy, the air was thick with anticipation. We were set to dive into the vibrant life of its streets, blissfully unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. The first week of our trip unfolded like a dream. We indulged in the rich flavors of the region, roamed through historical sites, and let the lively flamenco beats guide our steps into the night. Laughter and a shared sense of joy seemed to affirm that nothing could sever the strong bond we shared. Yet, unbeknownst to me, a tempest was gathering strength, ready to strike and unravel the fabric of my happiness. It was a bright Monday morning, the sun casting a golden glow over the city. I found myself alone in what should have been a room filled with family. Confusion and a sinking sense of unease enveloped me as I reached for my phone, desperately trying to contact Gary and Janice, only to be met with silence. Their sudden disappearance left me grappling with a whirlwind of emotions and questions. The phones offered no answers, and a thorough search of our room revealed no clues. No goodbye notes, no packed bags, nothing to suggest a planned departure or any hint of trouble. It felt as if I had imagined our shared moments of happiness. Now, sitting alone in a space meant for family, time stretched painfully as I wrestled with unsettling possibilities. Had they somehow gotten lost, or worse, been taken? The absence of any signs of a struggle or distress quickly dismissed those fears, leaving me with the cold realization that I had been abandoned in a foreign country. The bonds I thought were unbreakable now seemed to have dissolved. Just as despair began to cloud my thoughts, a ray of hope pierced the gloom, a call from Janice. A mix of emotions overwhelmed me. Relief at knowing they were at least safe, confusion over their unexplained departure, and a deep sense of betrayal. With a heart heavy with conflicting feelings, I answered, my voice betraying my worry and incredulity. Janice, where are you? What's going on? I asked, hoping for some understanding, some reason that could make sense of this situation. However, the response I received was far from the warm, comforting tone I was used to from Janice. Her voice, edged with a hint of coldness and frustration, was almost unrecognizable. Kayla, I thought I should at least return your call since you've tried reaching me so many times, she said, her words striking a chill through me. The affectionate, kind-hearted Janice I knew seemed distant, replaced by someone whose actions I couldn't reconcile with the love and respect we once shared. I'm sorry if I bothered you, I replied, my voice filled with genuine concern. I just couldn't find you or your things and started to worry something bad might have happened. Her next words hit me like a physical blow, carrying a chilling indifference. We left you. Confused and hurt, I pressed for an explanation. But why? What did I do? I couldn't stand another week with you, so we had to leave, she said bluntly. Stunned, I struggled to process the weight of her words. I asked, what do you mean? Did I do something to upset you? Yes, how can you not see it? Janice snapped. You just decided we were going on this trip, assuming I'd be okay with spending so much time together. I can handle a few hours at family gatherings, but 3 weeks? I couldn't pretend any longer. After just 1 week, I was at my limit. Her words carried a harshness I had never encountered before, leaving me stunned. I'm sorry, but Gary and I are headed to the airport now. We just can't be around you any longer, she added, her announcement sending shockwaves through me. This revelation challenged everything I thought I knew about our relationship. How could our seemingly strong bond dissolve so quickly? I was left questioning what I had done to provoke such a reaction and whether there was any way to mend the rift between us. Feeling a mix of confusion and sorrow, I tried to express my unawareness of her feelings. Janice, I honestly had no idea you felt this way. You wouldn't have known. I led you to believe everything was fine, she replied, her tone icy. But why didn't you talk to me about this earlier? We could have worked through whatever issues you had with me, I insisted, still trying to understand the root of the problem. That's just it. I can't specifically say what it is about you that bothers me. You just do, she admitted, sounding almost childish in her inability to articulate her discomfort. I was astounded. That's incredibly vague. Are you upset with me over some vague annoyance? That seems so petty. I thought there was a genuine issue at stake. Our conversation left me in disbelief. Not only was our relationship not as solid as I believed, but the reasons for its breakdown were maddeningly unclear. This unexpected twist in our family dynamics forced me to confront a painful truth. Sometimes the foundations we build upon are more fragile than we ever imagined. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? I asked, seeking some sort of justification for this bewildering situation. Janice's response was dismissive. It's not about right or wrong. It's how I feel about being around you. You annoy me, and I can't stand it. Confused and hurt, I questioned her decision to join us on the trip. If you felt this way, why agree to come to Italy with us? It was a free trip to Italy. Who would say no to that? She replied bluntly. But as time went on, I just couldn't deal with you anymore. What did I do that bothered you so much? I pressed, desperate for answers as her vague complaints left me reeling. Janice struggled to pinpoint anything specific, leaving me more frustrated and heartbroken. It was becoming clear that this sudden disdain had no solid foundation. Amidst my shock and sadness, I needed to hear Gary's perspective. Can I talk to Gary? A mix of hope and dread colored my voice as I asked, Can I talk to Gary? Janice handed him the phone without hesitation, and Gary's tone mirrored his mother's indifference. Hello, he said, as if oblivious to the gravity of the situation. Gary, you're leaving me too. My voice cracked, the sting of betrayal hitting hard. I'm leaving because my mom said she needed to go home, not because I don't like you, he tried to explain, but his reassurance fell flat. How long have you known about your mom's feelings toward me? I pressed, searching for some understanding. Gary admitted that he had been aware for a while but had hoped the trip would bridge the gap between us. His admission only deepened my confusion. Why didn't anyone talk to me about this before? We're adults. We solve our problems through discussion. But just like his mother, Gary had no real answers. The silence that followed my speculation about Janice's jealousy confirmed my suspicions. I concluded that the issue wasn't truly about me but rather rooted in Janice's insecurities and envy. After ending the call, I paced my hotel room, bewildered and hurt but also enlightened. Decades of life experience reminded me that sometimes people's issues with you stem more from their internal struggles than from anything you've done. Jealousy, insecurity, and unresolved personal problems can drive people to irrational dislike or resentment. It was a hard lesson in human nature, one that would take time to fully digest. I never would have guessed that the ones to push me to my limit would be my own family. The sting of betrayal from those closest to me was something I never saw coming. After a moment of deep sadness, a spark of realization hit me. It was time for me to stand up for myself and take charge of my situation. This was the turning point, a moment that would mark a new chapter in my life. As I dried my tears, a fierce resolve took hold. I would no longer let their cruel actions consume my emotions. It was time for them to understand that they couldn't just walk all over me without consequences. With my hands still shaking, I called Peter, a lifelong friend who had stood by me through every high and low. I confided in Peter about the entire ordeal in Italy, and without hesitation, he offered his unwavering support. "Kayla, you've always been unstoppable. Tell me what you need, and I'll be there," he said, his voice a comforting blend of concern and eagerness to help. An idea sparked in my mind, both cunning and poetic. "Peter, does your construction company still deal with that annoying excess sawdust?" "Yeah, it's a constant bother," he replied, puzzled yet intrigued. "I have the perfect solution for it," I said, revealing my plan to use the sawdust as a symbol of the mess they'd made of our relationship. My idea was to fill Janice's house with it, touching every corner as a reminder of the turmoil she had caused. Peter, always the adventurous spirit, was immediately on board, amused and impressed by the creativity of the plan. Together, we plotted how to carry out this unique form of justice. "But how will we get inside before they return?" he wondered. "There's a spare key under the potted plant on the patio. That's our entry point," I explained, having thought through every detail. "You've thought of everything. I'd underestimated you," he chuckled, admiration in his voice. Determined to reclaim my power and no longer be overlooked, I embraced this new resolve as the plan unfolded. Peter confirmed the execution, and I waited eagerly for the inevitable fallout. This wasn't just about revenge. It was a statement that I was not someone to be dismissed lightly. Then, as if on cue, my phone signaled a new message from Peter. "The deed is done," he wrote. Now, it was just a matter of time before they discovered the extent of my response. This wasn't merely a prank. It was a lesson in respect and a reminder of the consequences of underestimating someone's resolve. I could hardly contain my excitement as I opened the pictures Peter had sent. The sight was unbelievable. Janice's immaculate home was now chaos, completely submerged under a blanket of sawdust. It looked as if a sandstorm had swept through, leaving our mark of mischief in every corner. I couldn't help but laugh as I spoke with Peter over the phone. I experienced a moment of joyous release from the betrayal that had weighed so heavily on me. It was a strange kind of triumph, sharing this victory with Peter, a friend who stood by me through such an unconventional response to hurt. "There's a certain satisfaction in being a little naughty," he remarked, and I couldn't agree more. As time passed, my anticipation grew for Gary and Janice's reaction. I imagined their shock and confusion upon returning to a home transformed by our handiwork. Eventually, Gary called, his voice laced with shock and a hint of panic as he described their astonishment at the sawdust-filled house. Listening to him, I couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction. My heart swelled with the knowledge that my message had been delivered. Actions have consequences, I thought, savoring the moment. "Kayla, this is terrible. Mom's beside herself," Gary lamented. Without hesitation, I admitted my role in their unexpected welcome home. "Well, how could you just abandon me like that?" I retorted. "Was this you?" Gary's confusion was palpable. Then Janice's voice cut in, demanding the phone from Gary before accusing me directly. Despite their attempts to pin the blame on me, I coolly deflected. "Maybe it's time you consider security measures for your home," I suggested, the irony not lost on me. Janice's complaints about the inconvenience and discomfort caused by the sawdust only reinforced my point about their choice to leave me stranded in Italy. Amidst the chaos, I felt a surge of empowerment. I had sent a clear message. I was not someone to be underestimated or discarded without thought. The fallout from our orchestrated chaos served as a reminder of the strength I had reclaimed by standing up for myself. The question of when I would return from my vacation lingered in my mind. I had originally planned to stay for 3 weeks, but now I toyed with the idea of extending my trip a bit longer. During a phone call, as Janice lamented the state of her home, Gary couldn't hide his dismay. "Kayla, this is terrible. How could you?" he implored. I couldn't resist playing innocent. "Why would you think I'm involved? I'm just here enjoying the jacuzzi. How could I possibly orchestrate such a thing?" Holding back my laughter was a challenge as they fumbled over their suspicions, unable to pin anything concrete on me. The thrill of seeing them so bewildered was undeniable. As I ended the call with Gary, a wave of satisfaction washed over me. I had flipped the script, forcing them to confront the consequences of their own actions. What I had done might have been extreme, especially considering Janice's age and the potential health risks posed by a sawdust-filled house. But I was certain they wouldn't dare stay there, opting instead for a prolonged hotel stay. Meanwhile, I extended my vacation, savoring the Italian culture and the freedom I had reclaimed. Back home, Gary and Janice faced the daunting challenge of cleaning up the colossal mess, a task that seemed almost Herculean. The thought of Janice moving in with us, given her aversion to my company, was an ironic twist I found amusing. This situation highlighted a harsh truth. Sometimes, people only understand the impact of their actions when faced with direct consequences. The entire ordeal served as a poignant reminder that the only way to teach someone a lesson is often by letting them experience the repercussions of their actions firsthand. So if you ever find yourself in a position to serve justice in your own unique way, perhaps it's not such a bad idea to seize the opportunity. After all, it gives those who have wronged you something tangible to ponder over.